Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that might be a little different from the usual motivational videos you see online. We're diving into the most honest life lessons that no one talks about, the kind of things that only become clear after you've had enough time to live, experience, and reflect. This isn't another 5 tips for living your best life list you see everywhere. No, these are real, straight to the point pieces of advice, lessons learned from people who've lived longer, gone through the ups and downs of life, and now want to share the valuable wisdom they've gathered with us. If you've ever felt like there's more to life than the daily grind or wondered what really matters in the long run, stick around. Because today, we're talking about life lessons no one told you, but you'll wish you knew sooner. 1. Life doesn't always go according to plan. We all have plans for our lives. From a young age, most people have a clear vision of the future, the dream job, the perfect home, the happy family life. But the truth is, life rarely goes as expected. Sometimes, the well-laid plans you've spent years perfecting get disrupted by factors beyond your control. And here's the important thing, life doesn't have to go exactly according to plan for you to live a fulfilling life. Take Sarah, for example. She's a young woman who decided from a young age that she wanted to become a doctor. She spent her entire youth studying hard, preparing for exams, and even overcoming challenges to get into medical school. However, in her 3rd year, she was involved in a severe car accident, which forced her to drop out of school and gave up her dream of becoming a doctor. Even though she couldn't pursue her original dream, Sarah didn't give up. She decided to study psychology and eventually became a therapist, helping many people overcome life's challenges. Sarah realized that sometimes life doesn't go the way you planned, but that doesn't mean you can't find another path that's equally meaningful. Then there's John, a man who dedicated his whole life to building a career in finance. He had planned to retire early at 55 and live a stress-free life, free from money worries. But when John hit 50, a major financial crisis hit, and his company had to downsize. John lost his job and had to start over. Though he was deeply disappointed, John didn't give up. He decided to invest in a new field, technology and software development. After a few years of hard work, he succeeded with a tech startup, and not only did he find a new career, but he also discovered a real passion for his work. His life didn't go according to his original plan, but it became richer and more fulfilling than he ever expected. And then there's Michael, a man who lived in the countryside with his family, raising his children in a small house and dreaming of owning a large farm. But when he started investing in the farm, unexpected weather changes caused crop failures, leading to financial struggles. Michael couldn't maintain the farm and had to sell the land. Even though he felt like a failure, Michael switched gears and began growing organic vegetables, selling them directly to stores in the city. After a few years, not only did he succeed, but he also became known as a smart, dedicated farmer. His journey wasn't what he had envisioned, but in the end, he found the happiness and success he had been hoping for. When life doesn't go according to your plan, don't see it as a failure. Unexpected changes can lead to opportunities you never imagined. What's important is to keep an open mind, be flexible, and not give up. Persistence and adaptability will help you overcome challenges and find a new direction, even if it's not the path you originally envisioned. Life isn't always going to unfold the way you expect, and that's perfectly natural. Remember, challenges aren't the end, they're opportunities to change, grow, and become stronger. So, be ready to embrace the unexpected and trust that everything happens for a reason. I hope this part gives you a deeper perspective on life's lessons when things don't go according to plan. 2. The importance of living in the present. Modern life is full of distractions that often make us forget the most important thing, truly living in the moment. We often get caught up in worries about the future, thinking about what hasn't happened yet, or dwelling on regrets from the past. But there's one truth that older people often emphasize: if you don't live in the present, you'll miss out on a lot of precious things happening around you. Anna, a woman in her 60s, spent most of her life focusing on work. She always believed that only when all her tasks were done could she finally relax and enjoy life. But when she started thinking about her life after retirement, she realized that she had missed so many precious moments with her family. She couldn't clearly remember family dinners or small vacations because all those moments were overshadowed by work projects and unfinished plans. Anna began to change when she realized that if she didn't live fully in each moment, she would never truly appreciate the value of life. She started spending more time going on walks with friends, taking short trips with her family, and, most importantly, enjoying leisurely conversations. Don't let work or future worries steal today's precious moments from you. The future is never certain, and if you don't live fully in the present, you'll miss out on so much life has to offer. Stop and look around, enjoy the simple things, and remember that life may not be long, but it is certainly full of moments worth cherishing. John, a man in his 50s, was always working hard to own everything, from a house to a car and his dream vacation. He thought that he needed to have everything before he could truly enjoy life. But one day, sitting in his luxurious mansion, John realized that he had never truly felt happy. He was always chasing after new things, searching for material possessions to fill the emptiness he felt inside. Yet, he overlooked the more important things: deep conversations with his wife, relaxing moments with family, or small but meaningful experiences. Material things can provide temporary comfort, but only when you learn to savor the moments in life will you truly feel happiness. Life doesn't always need to be about having something perfect, it's about those simple things full of love and care. David, a man in his 70s, shared that he regretted not learning how to slow down when he was younger. He was once busy with work, always believing that the more he worked, the more success he would achieve. But now, in retirement, he realized that he had missed out on so many precious moments with his wife and children. He would rush off to work in the mornings without having time to enjoy a peaceful cup of coffee or chat with his family. Now, David always makes time to read, exercise, and most importantly, enjoy the peaceful moments of every day. Being busy can make you feel like you're moving forward, but sometimes, taking time for yourself and the people you love is more important. Don't let the rush of life make you miss out on the small, but incredibly valuable things life has to offer. Maya, a young woman, used to be very anxious about the future. She was constantly stressed about unpredictable things, like whether she'd land a good job or if she could save enough money to buy a house in the future. But one day, she met Maria, an older woman, who shared her story. Maria said, "When I was young, I was just like you, worrying about everything. But over time, I realized that everything would fall into place if I worked hard and lived with integrity. The most important thing is to live fully every day. Don't let worries about the future make you miss out on the wonderful opportunities that the present offers." Worrying about the future is natural, but if you spend too much time thinking about it, you'll miss out on the amazing things happening right in front of you. Trust that life will always find a way to lead you where you need to go, as long as you live fully in every moment. Life always presents challenges, but the most important thing is how to live fully in each moment. If you're racing against time to achieve future goals without paying attention to the precious moments of today, you might miss out on the best part. Remember, life may not last forever, but it is always filled with opportunities to enjoy and love. Live fully, starting today. 3. Financial stability comes from discipline, not luck. Many of us have often believed that wealth comes from luck. Stories of people winning the lottery or discovering a big investment opportunity tend to make us dream. But older folks, those who've lived through ups and downs, will tell you, financial stability doesn't come from luck, it comes from discipline and smart decisions over many years. This is a lesson that not everyone grasps, especially when you're young and believe you can achieve everything with just one big leap. But the truth is, there is no shortcut to long-term financial stability. Take the example of Mr. David, a man in his 70s. When he was young, he worked for a small company and didn't earn much. However, from his 30s, he began saving 10% of his monthly income into his retirement fund. He never took out consumer debt and always avoided unnecessary spending. Over the years, despite his low salary, he had accumulated enough to buy a small house and build up savings for his old age. His journey didn't rely on big breaks, it was about financial discipline and the habit of saving every month. Financial stability comes from saving and investing regularly. Even small amounts, if saved or invested consistently, will gradually grow into significant wealth. We can't wait for a large sum of money before we start, we must take action right now. There's the story of Margaret, an older woman who lived a simple life. Although she didn't earn much when she was younger, she always worked hard to save a portion of her income. She even avoided excessive shopping and always looked for ways to save on small expenses. One of the smart decisions she made was investing in stocks when the stock market was still in its early stages and not as developed as it is today. Although not a professional investor, her patience in holding onto her investments over many years helped her build a solid retirement fund. Investing early, even if you're not an expert, can help you build long-term wealth. What matters is having a long-term vision and patiently waiting for the results. There will surely be times when you feel uncertain, but if you maintain discipline, your investments will pay off over time. Tom is a retired man who worked as an accountant. He didn't have a high income when he worked, but he always practiced smart financial strategies. He started paying off debt when he was young and steadfastly avoided consumer debt. A clear example of this is when he refused to buy a new car even though he could take out a loan. Instead, he chose a used car that still offered good quality. Tom also opened an automatic savings account so that a portion of his income was always set aside for the future. These seemingly simple decisions built a solid financial foundation for him when he retired. Avoiding consumer debt and learning to live below your means are crucial steps in building financial stability. Small spending decisions can have a huge impact in the long run. Buying a used car instead of a new one or declining unnecessary consumer loans can save you thousands of dollars each year. When Susan was young, she lived in New York and worked for a major PR firm. She earned a pretty good income, but she also lived a lavish lifestyle, dining at fancy restaurants, buying designer items, and traveling frequently. But by the time she reached her 40s, she started to realize that if she kept living this way, she wouldn't have enough money to retire comfortably. She decided to change her spending habits and started saving seriously. Susan cut back on unnecessary expenses and began investing in retirement funds and stocks. Although it was tough at times, by the time she reached 60, she was able to retire early and live a relaxed life without worrying about finances. The key to achieving financial stability is not having a high income but knowing how to manage that income. No matter how much you earn, if you don't know how to save and invest wisely, you won't be able to achieve long-term financial goals. On the flip side, even if you don't earn a huge salary but know how to spend smartly, you can still achieve financial stability. Financial stability is not something that comes from luck or sudden breakthroughs. It comes from healthy financial habits and discipline in managing money. No matter where you start, the important thing is to start right now and be consistent. Save a portion of your income, invest wisely, avoid unnecessary debt, and live below your means. With patience and discipline, you'll see sustainable results over time. 4. Regret doesn't help you learn to let go. Regret is something we all experience at some point in our lives. It can arise from a wrong decision, a missed opportunity, or a relationship that didn't turn out the way we hoped. Regret can make you feel pain, sorrow, and stuck. But what those who've lived longer want to remind you is, regret doesn't help you move forward. It just keeps you stuck in the past and prevents you from enjoying the present. John, a 65-year-old man, was once a successful businessman. Throughout his career, he sacrificed a lot of time with his family and loved ones to build his company. After retiring, John felt regret for not spending more time with his wife and kids, especially when they were young. He recalled the times he missed family dinners, holidays, and special moments. But instead of letting regret control his life, John decided to make a change. He started getting involved in family activities, like taking his wife on trips, helping his grandchildren with their homework, and joining family gatherings. Over time, he realized that although he couldn't change the past, he could still create new, better memories with his family in the years to come. While regret is a normal feeling, you must learn to let it go. You can't change what has happened, but you can control what happens next. Don't let regret stop you from enjoying the life you have now. Leave the past behind and start creating new memories today. Sarah, a 70-year-old woman, once regretted not following her dream when she was younger. She had always loved photography and dreamed of becoming a photographer, but because of family and work, she gave up on that dream. For years, she lived with a sense of regret and unfulfilled aspirations. When she retired, she decided not to let her age stop her anymore. She enrolled in online photography courses, began taking photos of the beautiful scenery around her, and even held a small exhibition in her local area. Not only did she rediscover her passion, but she also created artwork she was proud of. Don't let age or anything else stop you from pursuing your dreams. Life doesn't have a time limit, you can always start again. If you regret not doing something in the past, don't let that regret kill your dreams now. Start today, no matter how old you are. Michael, an 80-year-old man, lived most of his life in hardship and poverty. In his youth, he always felt regret for not being able to pursue an education. Educational opportunities seemed like a distant dream for him. However, after retiring, he began participating in local volunteer classes and learning the knowledge he had never had the chance to acquire before. He became a literacy teacher for children in his village and even taught history classes to younger members of his community. Michael realized that although he had missed the opportunity for formal education, he could still pass on what he had learned to the next generation. Life always finds a way to give you a second chance. Don't let regret about missed opportunities make you feel helpless. The truth is, you can create new opportunities to learn and grow, no matter your age or circumstances. Linda, a 55-year-old woman, regretted not spending enough time for herself throughout the years. She had always been busy taking care of her family, raising her children, and managing work. However, when her kids grew up and the family was stable, Linda realized she no longer knew what she truly liked or wanted to do. She started traveling alone, took yoga classes, and even began working part-time in a field she had once loved as a young woman. These small steps helped Linda not only rediscover joy in life but also taught her to love herself more. Remember, taking care of yourself isn't selfish. You deserve to enjoy life and do the things that make you happy. Don't let regrets about the past stop you from living for yourself in the present. You deserve to have private moments and personal joys. Regret is a feeling no one wants to experience, but it's an inevitable part of life. The key is to learn how to let it go and not let it take control of your life. Remember, the past can't be changed, but the present and future are entirely in your hands. Don't let negative emotions linger, create new opportunities and live fully with the decisions you make today. 5. People are more important than possessions. In today's world, many of us get easily caught up in the pursuit of material wealth. We dream of owning a big house, driving a luxury car, having the latest gadgets, and collecting designer items. But after going through the ups and downs of life, older generations will tell you an important truth: none of these things are the key to long-lasting happiness. True happiness comes from relationships and the people you love and cherish. Jack and the dream car. Jack is a man who spent his whole life working hard to buy the car of his dreams. He saved for years, and finally, when he had enough money, he bought a luxury car with all the top features. He was proud of his car, but just a few months later, he realized something sad. Despite owning the perfect car, he felt lonely. The people around him were more interested in the car than in him as a person. Jack realized that the car couldn't replace real friends in his life. Eventually, Jack started spending more time with his family, reconnecting with old friends, and even volunteering to feel a true sense of connection. His life became much richer and more meaningful, and the luxury car was no longer his top priority. Material possessions can bring short-term comfort, but they cannot replace meaningful relationships, true friends, or family. Long-lasting happiness is the result of investing in people, not in material things around you. Clara and the shift in relationships. Clara, a 65-year-old woman, had once lived a life very focused on her career and personal achievements. She was successful in her job, had a big house, and enjoyed a comfortable material life. However, after retiring, Clara realized that she hadn't maintained many close relationships. Her children had grown up and started their own lives, her old friends had drifted apart, and she felt very lonely. One day, Clara decided to make a change. She started joining book clubs, traveling with new friends, and spending more time with her family. She began hosting family dinners, not to show off her personal achievements or expensive items, but to share joy, stories, and emotions with her loved ones. Clara realized that her relationships with her children and friends were the most precious assets she had. Material achievements may help you live comfortably, but if you neglect the important relationships in your life, you will feel empty. To live happily and meaningfully, you need to connect with those you love and cherish because they are the true source of motivation and happiness. James and the family lesson. James, a man in his 70s, had lived a life filled with career accomplishments. He had been the CEO of a large company and owned everything many people dream of. However, after retiring, a sad truth emerged: James couldn't feel true joy in life because he had neglected his family for so many years. James' story became clearer when he realized that his children now had families of their own, and his relationship with them had become distant. While he could tell you all about the career achievements he'd accomplished, he couldn't share meaningful memories with his loved ones. And as James' health started to decline, he understood that the material possessions he owned couldn't replace the love and care from his family. James decided to spend more time with his children, take them on trips, and share memorable moments together. He found that it was those trips and family gatherings that brought him true joy. In his heart, those were the eternal values. A career and material wealth might make you stand out, but it's the love and care from family that truly create happiness. Spend time with the people who matter in your life, because they are the ones who bring long-term and lasting value. Maria and the sacrifice for friends. Maria, a 60-year-old woman, had a steady job for over 30 years and a big house she had bought with her hard work. However, during a visit to old friends in another city, Maria realized that her close friends had distanced themselves from her over the years because she had been too focused on work and finances. Maria decided to make a change right away. She sold some unnecessary possessions to spend more time with her dear friends, helping them through tough times and organizing gatherings filled with laughter. She found herself becoming happier by sharing joys and sorrows with her close friends rather than focusing on making money or buying expensive items. You might think that career and finances are important, but in reality, close friends and real relationships are the most priceless assets in life. Don't let work or material possessions take up all your time. Spend time with the people you love and care about. They are the greatest source of support, comfort, and joy in your life. Life isn't about what you own, but about what you share and how you connect with others. No matter how many possessions you have, without meaningful relationships, life will feel empty. Remember, people always matter more than anything you own. 6. You will change, and that's completely normal. Here's one of life's biggest truths that no one really talks about: you're going to change over time, and that's okay. The person you are today may be completely different from the person you'll be 20 years from now, and that's not a problem. That's life. The sooner you embrace change instead of fighting it, the better. When we're younger, we often try to create a consistent image of ourselves. We want stability. We want to be the same person in everyone's eyes. But as we grow older, we realize that change isn't just inevitable, it's often the doorway to some of life's most beautiful moments. From career to calling. Let me tell you about Michael. He's in his early 60s now. For most of his life, Michael worked in banking. He built a solid career, climbed the ladder, earned respect. But somewhere around his 50s, he started feeling drained. The office, the meetings, the reports, it all felt empty. What he really loved: gardening, designing beautiful outdoor spaces. At first, the idea of leaving a stable, well-paying job felt crazy. Too risky. But once he hit 60, Michael said, "You know what? Life's too short." He started working part-time as a landscaper. He took some classes, learned the craft, and eventually opened a small plant shop. Today, he's happier than ever. He didn't just change his career, he changed how he saw himself. Sometimes, change isn't just normal, it's necessary. It helps you discover parts of yourself you never knew were there. When relationships shift. Now let's talk about Maria. She and her husband got married young. They raised a family and built a life together. But by the time Maria turned 50, something had shifted. They weren't laughing together like they used to. Their interests, their goals, even their energy, it all started to feel different. She worried. Is our marriage falling apart? But instead of pretending nothing was wrong, Maria had an open, honest conversation with her husband. They both admitted things had changed. And instead of letting it break them, they decided to rebuild together. They started traveling again. Took cooking classes. Made time for each other. And most importantly, they gave each other the freedom to grow individually, too. Here's the truth, relationships evolve. Change doesn't have to mean the end. Sometimes it's just the beginning of a new kind of love, stronger, deeper, more real. A new perspective on life. Then there's Margaret. A high-achieving woman with a picture-perfect life, great job, solid income, beautiful home. But after going through a tough breakup and a health scare, everything changed. She started asking herself, is this really what I want? She realized she'd been working so hard, she had no time for the people she loved, or even for herself. So she made a bold move, cut back on work, joined a yoga class, and started spending more time with her kids and close friends. Yes, she missed out on a few promotions. But she gained something far more valuable, peace of mind. And the relationships she built in that time became the foundation for a much richer life. So what's the lesson? Life throws curveballs. Your priorities will shift. Let them. Sometimes, change is how we discover what really matters. Reinventing yourself after retirement. Now let's talk about Peter. A busy man. Always hustling, always on the move. Work, meetings, emails, no time for hobbies, barely time for family. But when he retired, everything stopped. And instead of feeling lost, Peter saw it as an opportunity. He started hiking. Took up gardening. Even enrolled in a creative writing class, something he'd always wanted to try but never had the time for. He reconnected with old friends, rediscovered simple joys, and finally felt like he was living for himself. Peter says, I spent decades chasing deadlines. Now, I'm chasing sunsets. And honestly, I've never felt more alive. Here's the truth, retirement isn't the end. It can be a beautiful new chapter. A chance to reconnect with passions you put on hold. To live slower. Deeper. More intentionally. Final thoughts. Change is part of life. It comes in stages, in seasons. Sometimes it creeps in slowly. Sometimes it hits like a storm. But every change is a chance to grow, to heal, to discover a new version of yourself. So, what have we learned today? Life doesn't always go according to plan, and that's okay. The present moment is all we truly have. Financial security comes from discipline, not luck. Regret doesn't serve you, learn from it and move on. People, not things, your most valuable asset. And finally, you will change. And that's a beautiful thing. If these lessons resonated with you, if you felt seen, inspired, or even a little emotional, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep, real-life conversations like this. Remember, life is short, but it's also full of opportunity. Don't waste it chasing perfection. Live with purpose, starting today. Thanks for watching. and I'll see you in the next one.